Hello, hello. Let's see, does the volume work? Looks pretty good. On my side, I'll switch it. There we go. Hey, how's it going, everybody? We are going to be writing some unit tests today. So this is the stream that's like making up the one that I typically do on Fridays. I decided not to stream that morning when I had already planned on doing that because I was not feeling too well. So this is the one that we are going to make up instead. Okay, so let's see. I need to open a couple things on my side. So how is everybody doing tonight? It's a different time that I'm streaming, so I'm wondering if there's going to be different people here today because of that. Okay, we're getting Xcode open and opening all the applications. Hey Kevin, how's it going? I'm glad you could make it. Okay, we are getting everything open. Let's see, do I need to open anything else? Okay. I think actually I need to open Docker. Okay, Docker is starting up. And now we will go and switch to my monitor. So what I think we should do is write some unit tests for the network that we did. That's what I titled this video, because I put all the networking stuff in there, and then at the end of the video, I was confused on what I had done. So let's go back over how all of that worked. Okay, you're good. Just going over Code with Chris Foundations course and 100 Days of SwiftUI again to maintain knowledge / continue learning. Nice. Oops, sorry if I hit the microphone. Okay, hopefully that's not too loud. But yeah, that's a lot of fun. I would say if you've gone through both of those already, I would say definitely make an app now. I know you are working on one, but I'd say definitely work on making that and like see if you can put it in the app store is what I would try to do. Okay. So I tried to do a network request, but I didn't have the database up and running yet, so like saying a big error, which I'm not surprised by. So let's see. Let's get Docker running. 2 of these open. There's a reason for that. Not expense tracker. We want to go to expense tracker kit. And then Docker compose up DB. Yeah, you did 3 projects for your resume, but nothing in the App Store yet. I would say try to put something in the App Store if you can, because that whole process itself is really, it like seems really hard the first time you do it, and it kind of is sometimes. Like, I forget how to do that every single time. I'm always like, where is test flight? Like, I forget how to upload an app every time I do it. So when we do it, I'm looking to do that on stream. I want to. I'm not sure if I can yet because I don't want to accidentally share any secrets on stream. Okay. Report. I need to report a comment because somebody is trying to spam me. But okay, I think if we run the app now, if I tried to go to settings, oh, it's still freaked out. Let's just rerun the app. Oh, I know why it's freaking out. The database is up and running, but I don't have the actual API running. So that's why I had open 2 terminal tabs down here. They're kind of, my face is kind of hiding them. There we go. Expense tracker kit, that's the Vapor project. So I think, is it Vape? There's a command to run this from the terminal. Let's do vapor-h. Will it tell us? We have build. Can we do vape Swift run? Okay, let's do vapor run. Because we usually run this out of Xcode, but let's just go from the command line this time and see. The worst thing about publishing an app to the App Store, in your opinion, is that you have to provide a URL for a privacy policy. Yes, that is a thing. I can show you what I do on one of my apps. So instead of actually needing to make a website or anything like that, you can actually provide any kind of URL. So what I do on my account is, here we go. I just make a GitHub repo that has a README file in it, and that's it. Like, the README file, this is the privacy policy, and I totally have copied this probably from somebody else. So I am not a lawyer, this is not law advice, but that's what I do for my apps, and I have 3 apps in the App Store that use this kind of this method to do that. You're going to focus on building some health fitness app once the semester is over, and you can have more energy to focus towards it. Yeah, for sure. You cannot really restrict who is able to download the app, except, example, you want to make an app just for yourself or family friends. Hendrik, actually, there's a new thing that you can do that is called the, let me look it up. Oh, here's my Buy Me a Coffee link. I bring this up on every stream. If you're liking the streams that I have, you can feel free to buy me a coffee. And if you buy me a coffee while we are on stream, I have an alert set up on that side to go off. So I will see it on stream, which is really cool. But there is a thing called in the App Store for literally like family and friends. It is, what is that called? App Store Unlisted, I think. Unlisted. Yeah. So you can distribute what's called an unlisted app. So this means it won't actually show up on the App Store if somebody tries to search for it, but you can get a specific link to it, and you can share that link with anybody you want. So people have to have the link to be able to download your app. So that's one way you can do that for like only family and friends if that's your goal. And I'll drop that in the chat as well. Have I tried Flutter from just, is it Smile? Or is there not an L? I have not done Flutter because I personally really like native iOS development, so I haven't done that yet. But I've heard good things. Ooh, there's all these warnings. Those should be fine. Let's do, if I do get expenses, hit send. There we go. We see the get expenses right there. Okay, but now we should be able to run the app and we should get something back. Hendrik, that sounds like just what you've been searching for. Perfect. Yeah, it was released, I think this year. It is still relatively new, I know. Hey Tyler, how's it going? Glad you made it. Good evening. Yes, we're streaming at a different time today because I was not feeling up to it yesterday morning, even though I had all my tweets and everything scheduled out. I had to like post that I'm not gonna make it. But thank you to everybody for dropping by. Okay, so I'm gonna write some unit tests and we're gonna go back over the reason I wrote the networking request this way because I was getting confused the reason I did this and I may have added one extra level of complexity that we don't need, but I did want to do it a specific way. So here we go. When we click on settings, we get all of these different freelancing, all of the different income and expense categories and different accounts that we have. And these are all values that are saved in our database. And right now we are using the Vapor API to get all these values. Ooh, I need to turn on Do Not Disturb. Okay, there we go. You think you eventually build something in public, so you are taking notes? Yeah, for sure. I am kind of just, I know what the goal is in the end, and again, this is an expense tracker app. Nobody's stealing my idea. This has been made 1,000 times, so I'm not too worried about that. And yeah, I just kind of have a plan of what I'm going to do approximately every stream, and kind of go with that. But also, right here, like what we're doing now, we're just chatting, and that's also totally fine as well. What was the hardest thing to learn when you started learning iOS development? Tyler, your biggest one was how models worked. Oh, that's interesting. I don't think you've usually heard people who get tripped up on that. What was it that confused you about them? For me, I think the biggest thing was probably closures. Those took me an extra minute to really understand what was going on. So here is my own YouTube channel. I was going in, somebody had commented. Oh, it was you, Hendrik. Okay, so you had commented here and I wanted to fix this. I think this is also, right, this is right here at 4550. So this is networking? Yeah, the networking request. You had mentioned there's like an extra guard that we may not need. Later statements with 200 and 401, remove the first guard. Okay, so what I did here... Okay, yeah. So I want to actually remove this guard because this says if it's anything other than 200, return bad response. And then later I'm actually checking for which one specifically. I think I copied this, but we don't need that. We just want to first, yeah, make sure we have an HTTP URL response. Then check that, then check the actual status code. So that is what we need. Cool. Hey Yash, how's it going? You didn't understand that they were objects, and for displaying items in a table view, you couldn't connect that the model was just like storing a string or something like that. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's all in how something is taught to you, like understanding how all the things kind of connect together. Okay, so we fixed this, so I am just going to commit that. Fix extra guard. Ooh, we haven't pushed since last time. There we go. Everything is on main because it's all me, so it's fine. Okay, let's go through how we built this networking model because I was kind of confused when I went over it myself as well. So we have a class called networking, and it implements HTTP client. So HTTP client, this is the protocol with just fetch in it. Okay, so that's the HTTP client is the protocol. Let's do this. Protocol for networking requests. And then networking, this is the generic implementation of our network request. And then settings network manager takes in an HTTP client. I think good. How about you? I'm doing good today. I was not feeling up to it yesterday morning, so I decided to switch it to... I was going to stream in the evening, but then I ended up sleeping like almost all day. So I did that, I think, most of today too. So we're going to stream now is the goal. And write some unit tests for this. So I think I'm going to end up deleting this one. Or maybe I'll just rename it. Let's rename this to... we'll name it in a second. Okay. So we have HTTP client. This one is generic. It's a generic protocol. This is a generic implementation. And then this is the concrete implementation, and it uses the generic one to actually do the request. So when we can switch in a mock HTTP client, instead of using networking, we could use a mock networking instead, because this is the one that goes right here to the real internet. We could do a mock implementation for this function instead, and then that would really test whether or not this works. So let's do that. Let's rename our expense tracker tests. Refactor, rename. Let's call this networking tests. And I'm gonna commit. I like to commit when I like rename files, because then you still have the file history with everything, so. Awesome. Okay, everything else is still running, so we're still good. Also, if everyone is enjoying the stream, be sure to drop a like on this video, because my channel at the moment is mainly live streams. I have a video scheduled for Monday. You all are the first to find out, because I have totally not announced that yet. I have a video set for Monday where it will be the recording of the first conference talk that I gave, the first iOS Dev conference talk. So you all are the first to know about that. Okay. So I'm going to delete all these comments here because I don't want them. Example of a functional test. Mark your test async to allowing to wait for asynchronous code. Yes, that is a thing we will definitely have to do, and I'm not going to test performance right now. So get rid of that one. Okay, so what we want to test is, we want to test our settings network manager. And what we are going to do is give it a mock implementation. So let's put this at the bottom for right now, because I'm not sure where to put it. Class mock network. Yeah, mock networking should also conform to HTTP client. Oh, it didn't import because we need to import the project. Import, is it a testable import? I think it is. expense tracker. It does not conform right now, yes, and we need to add that. Now it does conform. Is there pressure when working on an iOS developer in a company? What do you mean by pressure? Yash, no, I'm actually going to be uploading a new video of the talk that I gave at 360 iDev. The Get With It Tech, that might be like my first, it wasn't actually a conference, it was more of a presentation. But so we would want to create a var settings network. Force unwrap that, setup with error. And this would be our mock networking. I think I'm doing this right. If somebody knows more about unit testing, please let me know. Because I could totally be doing this wrong. Is there pressure in company? You just did your first onboarding this past week for your iOS dev job. Oh, congrats, Tyler. And the goal of the first month is just to communicate where you fall short with your PM. Just you're working. Is there too much tasks to handle on a daily basis? I don't think so. I think companies where there's like too much to do and you're always stressed about everything is not a good working environment because it's setting unrealistic deadlines. So I have not experienced that, but it's possible for that to happen. But I thankfully have not experienced that. Okay, we want to do test successful fetch. So we need to implement this. What we are going to do is probably implement from a mock JSON response. So if I make a new file, let's call it an empty file right now. This will be, what do we want to call it? Are these categories? I think they are. So we have mock categories.json. Because settings. Okay, it does two things actually. Yeah. You don't need to set them in setup with error methods. You can just override the normal setup methods since you're not throwing any errors. That's true. There's also a normal setup method that doesn't have the with error part as well. But in doing this, this resets it every time. Whereas I don't believe it does that sometimes if it's just a class variable and we didn't, if we did this. Oops, why is that not coming up? If we did it like this, I believe this isn't actually set up every single time. Oh, I see why that happened though. Actually, don't quote me on that. I'm not really sure about that, but this makes it so that like the settings network manager is recreated every time. And then it's set to nil after every test. It's the normal setup method, not the class method. Yeah. So, Yash, are you saying I should be using the normal setup method instead right now because this is not throwing an error? So, like, should I switch this to not use setup with error and just instead be setup? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I could do that. Oh, cannot override. Oh, does it not even? Oh, it doesn't throw. I get it. Okay. Okay, so what we want to do is mock this. So our client does a fetch, and we actually do the same thing, whether we are fetching, we're using the same function to fetch categories and to fetch accounts, even though actually we're using two different endpoints to do that, because we pass the endpoint here. So our mock could then figure out which ones that is. So do I have URL in there? Or no, I'm just passing a URL. Which, that's fine. Let's do that. So we would need to do... Can URL equal another URL? Is that a thing? Okay, so we can do that. So I need to Google how to fetch data from JSON in an iOS app, because I forget how to write that every single time. Okay, we need to also search Swift in this, because we don't want to see web dev results. That's from 2016. Let's try this one. Or... There's a lot of posts on this. It's a very common thing. I just never remember how to do it. You're fairly new to Swift. Are there any benefits to make a function throws instead of returning? It depends on what your goal is. So... Yeah, it depends. I would say what's nice about throwing a function, which this actually function signature is different than the one I wrote because I like it like this. Hang on. So let's see. I would say it depends on what you're doing, because it depends on, you can handle the error in two different ways. So right here, when we are, this one throws, so I can write it just like this. And when I actually use this function, which is in the, in this view model, it looks like this. So it's do, and then this is the network call. If this were to instead return a, what is that called? Result type, it would look like, it actually uses completion handler as well. So it would look like network manager.fetch category. Result in switch result case. Is it failed? I think. Is it failure? I can't remember what it is. Let's just say fail because I can't remember what it is. Or case.success. So this, now it's in a closure as opposed to, instead of being sort of line by line with a do catch block. Success and failure. Okay. I can't remember what it is. Maybe it's because autocomplete does that for me. So yeah, when you use a result type, it does do, you have to use closures to handle that. So the network request would look like this. And then you could, when we have our failure type, we would then handle, you could maybe even, this would say error. It would look like that. And then you would maybe even have to do like switch on the error type and then do like another dot bad response dot forbidden, something like this. And it looks like this. So if we do print whatever, as opposed to if we were to handle it on this side, we could do, what are the errors that get thrown? We throw, what kind of errors? No, not mock networking. HTTP error. Here, this would be HTTP error dot bad response. it would look like this. So this would be the difference of when I'm using it this way, I can capture the errors individually in these different catch blocks, and it's really easy to understand, as opposed to down here, if you do this in a using result type, which is actually a completion handler that's passed back through, you would have to switch on it and like have a whole different place for success, you have a whole different place for failure. So all of this code would probably actually want to be in a function, and then it gets harder to read, as opposed to async await uses this kind of syntax and it's a lot easier. It feels like a chore, but seems worth it in the end. It is 100% worth it in the end, because it makes it so like your user actually sees something happen if something breaks. So like, whoops, didn't mean to click that one. We discard this, discard. So when I like stop the server from running and then run the app, when I go to settings, this would happen because I don't have error handling right now. It just shows like this empty screen, and you as a user are just wondering what is going on. But we can see in the console, because I print the error is code 1004 could not connect to server. Yash, you say the major benefit with result is that you have a somewhat typed error compared with throws, where you can literally throw any error, but you can use multiple catch closures for that. Yes. Using result type in network calls is so beautiful when you start using it, but async await is the future. It's just going to be a bit before you really start using it. Yes, it depends. Async await was available since, was it this past year? Or was it last year? It was last year, I think. So that was what, iOS 14? No, we're on 16, so it was 15. But you can do either. It's kind of whether or not you want to use closures, because async await doesn't use closures in that way, which makes it really nice to read. Let's start the server again. There we go. See, look how fast it starts up when I've like already built it. And then now when we refresh, we get that, and they all like populate immediately. I could have a loading screen for that, like a little loading spinner thing, which we will maybe get to that later. But that would be your big benefit, is that Swift concurrency is now backported to iOS 13, so async await for everyone. Oh yeah, I forgot. That's true. Yeah. So as long as your app, that's the big thing with SwiftUI as well. As long as your app is iOS 13 plus, you can use like SwiftUI in everything else. Also, SwiftUI though in iOS 13 is not the best, and your syntax is going to change every single iOS version, which is kind of obnoxious, but it's because SwiftUI is still so new, we're still like changing how it works. And I need to plug my laptop in because it's gonna die. It's not the best for iOS 14 either. Yeah, it's not the best on a lot of places so far. You can wrap your closure-based API using continuations and make async await provides a way. You think the project you're working on is targeting iOS 14? There's no... Wilfred, really? There's no state object in iOS 14? I didn't know that. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I would say SwiftUI is the best in, at the moment, the latest one, and if not the latest, the second to latest, so iOS 15. Are we on 3? It started in 2019, so 2020, 2021. Yeah, we're on the 3rd. No, 4th iteration. Because if you count the first year. Yeah, SwiftUI is good, and it's super nice, and that's what I'm using here, but it does have its pitfalls everywhere. Yeah, I did not learn SwiftUI when it first came out because I was still learning iOS development and I didn't want to confuse myself. So I didn't get into SwiftUI until the beginning of 2021. Okay, let's learn how to mock this. So we already have the thing, this. This is what I was looking for, because I can never remember this syntax. Okay, we're going to comment out this if statement, but we are going to, I think, end up using it. Because we could have one mock that handles everything, because we can pass this different, what do you call those? Different URLs to fetch different data, because this is generic. Yeah. Okay, so name. The name is, what do we call that? Mock. Whoops. I don't know how that happened. Mock categories. Oh, this means that we're gonna have to use different ones too. Oh well. String contents up, bundle UTF, return JSON data. Okay, we're not returning it just yet. Catch print error. We are just going to actually throw http error dot that one. How did you survive without it? You started SwiftUI day one and you can promise there is no state object. Yeah, I remember one of my friends was starting SwiftUI day one and with core data, and it was not great. So after a lot of issues he had, I was just like, you know, I'll just wait until it gets better. And I was still learning iOS dev, so I did not want to confuse myself just yet. So this gives us back the data object. Okay, and then they take that. Is this a let? Why is that in a block? That's interesting. I don't think that needs to be a block. Okay, you do not need to do a line break on something when the line is still that small. Like, come on. Okay, JSON data. We don't have demo data. Oh, was this block? Oh, I see what they did now. Okay, we'll do that block. Do they throw it then? Okay, we're not gonna do... Is this return optional? Is that what's happening here? Yes, that's an optional string. Okay, we are gonna get rid of this let. Oops. Because I don't like how they did this. Okay. We just have let. Okay. Did they still use scene delegate in iOS 14? Yes, I believe so. Yeah, that was the other thing that also changed around that time, was scene delegate and app delegate. And it was very confusing for many, many people. Okay, we are just gonna force on that, wrap that for right now. And we are going to decode. We don't actually... I don't think we actually need to decode. Fetch, what does fetch do? Fetch returns, yeah, an array of something. So this can actually be T. Gonna force unwrap the other one as well. Oops. Decoded data. Cannot convert expression of type T to return type array of T. Oh, yes. So for us to get what the mock data is, we are doing categories right now. Let's do get categories. Hit send in Postman. And here we go. This is what it looks like. So we can straight up copy and paste that into our mock categories. And I think it should work. But we will find out. Yeah, SwiftUI was wild in the beginning. It's still wild. Nobody knows what we're doing. Okay, so let's do this. The URL is going to be the same as this one. So this one would be for categories. Right now, let's do else XCT assert false. What is it? There's an XCT fail. Generates a failure immediately, but there is another one. There's XCT. We don't want to fail it, but we want to say, hey, this did not pass. Okay, we'll just do that for right now. Let's hope you don't get a Swift 3, like renaming a SwiftUI. Yeah, I think SwiftUI is still going to have... Oh, this needs to... SwiftUI is still evolving right now, so it's definitely going to end up having some, like, big fail. Not big fail, I was reading that. It's going to have some big redesign, and it's going to break everything. I think will probably happen at something. Okay, it is XCT fail. I couldn't think of if that was the one I wanted to use. Message, function generates a failure immediately. Okay. Not... Okay. We'll just put that for right now. Okay, so we are fetching fake categories. So when we go and do await try HTTP client, or no, settings dot fetch categories. The throws points won't execute after the fail. Yeah, I figured it probably wouldn't. I just wasn't sure. But actually, we need this here still because of how the function works. It has to throw something or return something. Love your content, especially Vapor stuff. Many thanks. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for dropping by. Be sure to like this video. That is something I always forget to say on my streams and things. Like my video. Thank you. Okay, so we are doing this. Result is unused. So the result is categories. Let categories equal, and we have to say this is type of category. And why does it not like that? Category is ambiguous in this context. This returns fetch categories. Here. Yeah, returns an array of categories. Oh, okay. So because it has that, we don't need this. Oh yeah, because inside under the hood, it's using this client that does the generic stuff. And here is where we are saying what it actually is. So we should be good with that, and we can do XCT assert. Let's do equal categories.count should be equal to, how many are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should be equal to 5. Okay, here we go. Not sure if a return never return type, but it's not a test field. You should be able to find. Not sure. I'm not sure either. We will see. Okay, does this build for one? If we do, yeah, if we do command U, it'll build all the UI tests, and I don't really want to do that at the moment. So yeah, we will just build the networking tests, and let's see if this test pass, and see if I know what I'm doing. Clone a phone? What happened? Why is it cloning a phone? That's weird. You can disable the UI test in the scheme. Oh yes, I will definitely. I'm gonna do that. Thank you. Perfect. Man, this is taking a hot minute. I don't know what happens with this clone thing. I've seen that a couple times here and there. Let's see. If this takes longer, I'm just gonna quit the simulator and redo it. But yeah, thank you to everybody who's joined. I might do an hour and a half. I was thinking like 1 hour, but we just wrote like one test in a full hour. Oh no. But, so I may do longer, but here I'm dropping my Buy Me a Coffee link. So if you buy me a coffee while I'm on stream, thank you so much, and you will see it over on the stream. So it'll actually like pop up and everything. Okay, what happened? Unexpectedly found nil while unwrapping optional. Okay. Did I spell it wrong? Mock categories. Let's see. So that's in the test. Place. Is this nil? Like, is bundle path nil? Failed to parse, really? Oh, it's not the main bundle. Did you check Ask Sebi on YouTube for your credit card traveling? Okay, since I got TSA pre-check. So Kevin is talking about your test bundle. Okay, thank you, Wilfred. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much. What would this be if it's not main? Would it be test? But what Kevin is asking is, I have not really looked in depth because I already know I have one travel credit card I can use, and that's the one that I'm going to bring, is like my one travel credit card, and I have like an Apple credit card because, you know, I buy a lot of Apple products. So I have one travel credit card I'll use for that, I think, and then maybe it racks up those kind of travel points, but we will see. In your daily job, am I using SwiftUI or UIKit? I am using SwiftUI lately because I work at a consulting agency kind of studio. So we make apps for other clients, and the 2 projects that I've done so far have all been in SwiftUI because they're brand new apps. So they are like file new project, and we get to write the app ourselves, which is super exciting as opposed to working on an app that's already existing. So I have used SwiftUI. Okay, so the Chase Sapphire. Okay, but you said it's not the main bundle, it's the test bundle. Oh, you used bundle for self. Let's see how that works. Here, let's also look at JSON from testing bundle. Not SwiftUI, just Swift. Read a local JSON for testing. Yes, this is what we want. Oh, that was an Objective-C. Oh. Oh, that's exactly what this one says. Bundle. Let's write that one. Oops, equal. Oh my goodness. Equal. So you did bundle for that self path for resource of type. For resource, what is this? Mock categories of type JSON. Does this still return? Is that build? Oh, well, the project builds, but let's see. Command U. Test failed. Awesome. Let me close this and run it again, because I don't like that copy of clone thing. It's still doing it. What is that? Why does it say clone of iPhone? That's weird. Okay, so Wilfred, you have a different one, but Yosh's is better. Okay. Okay, Chase Sapphire is generally the one you get, or Amex, if you want to do a lot of traveling from the research you have done. Yeah, I have a Chase Marriott, the free one, whatever that free credit card is. That's the one I'm planning on using. Okay, what is our failure here? Operation could not be completed. Ooh, expense tracker HTTP error 2. Where is that? Okay, hang on. Yash, you have something else going on over here. So we have, is this the bundle paths? Oh no, it's a string. Oh, okay. Equals file manager dot default contents at path, and this would be the bundle path. Oops, fail. Couldn't get my category. So this is data, right? Yeah. Let data equal consecutive statement. Why is that a consecutive statement? Is this optional? Okay, that's optional. So it does that. Couldn't get data. Can we just return? Does that work? Let's see. Yeah, no, it doesn't like return. We have to throw HTTP error. We'll say bad response. Maybe I should make more specific ones. Okay. You would not wrap in a do catch statement as it's hiding the error, but maybe it's rather a preference. Oh, yeah. You're right. I'm kind of writing it right now, and then maybe I'll go back and write it better. You feel like you should put the guard outside of the if let URL part. Technically, it could all be together. Like this post, the first one that I saw, put everything together, and I could do that. I just didn't like the way that they did it. Okay, operation could not be completed. Why would it say that? Oh, look at this. Somebody put everything in Swift 5 and above. Oh, and okay, so we still needed this part, maybe. Let JSON data... JSON string is contents of file. Careful, this is the old way of decoding. Oh, I was not going to do the decoding part of it. I was going to do the top half of this. Of the getting of the data. That's interesting. They don't use, yeah. Oh, this is from 2016. Wow. Okay, so we are doing this part. We did that. Let's just copy this one. Do we want to put all of this in a do catch? We'll just take it out for right now, because might as well. Okay, so what are they doing here? We don't want to throw a fatal error because that's kind of obnoxious. We're gonna do XCT fail. Because I think fatal error, that will stop all the tests from running, right? Like if this were to fail, that would just stop all of them. And that's not what we want to do. Let's do could not get JSON data, JSON file. Not categories. Yes, no fatal error. Okay, good. So we did that, and let's do this one. JSON string. Copy this. Could not convert JSON to string. Okay, that can print. Let's just do that part. Let's just print the JSON, see if we get that far. And let's comment out the rest for right now. I put emojis in all my code because then I can see what's happening. And then let's do throw. We'll just throw that for right now. Does this build? The build failed. Oh, the guard body must not fall through. Okay, throw HTTP error dot. We're just gonna throw all these. Seems like I need to add a new error. Okay, build succeeded, the test failed. But we got our JSON data. Okay. I'm so glad you're here, Wilfred. I forgot that there was XCTUnwrap. Okay. How do we do that? It's like XCTUnwrap. Asserts the expression is not nil. Returns the value. Wait, what did that say? It's not nil and returns the unwrapped value. Okay. Wait, it returns a value. Cool. Let's do that. So if we throw that there, we can do like that. Is this how this would work? Cool. Oh yay, a mod. I do need to get a mod because we're gonna report. Thank you for telling me. Hide user. Thank you. I don't know why all that. It's weird. It's very random. It just started happening on my channel too. This used to not happen up until maybe the last stream or so. So like, I don't know what that's about, but move the guard, put the optional value in. Yes. Okay, remove the guard, put the optional value in. This would be the optional, right? Oh, does this need a try? Maybe the 5K threshold or something. Oh wait, I can keep the same code as before. Oh wait, is this what needs to try? Wait, Tyler, what do you mean about the 5K threshold? Oh, for like people? Just remove the guard and then the thing. Oh, 5K subs. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, then I get the optional value. So, hang on. Oh wait, Wilfred, are you talking about this half of it? You put the input in the unwrap. Yeah. Oh my gosh, XCT unwrap. So I want to unwrap this expression. And this would be let JSON string. Like this? Am I doing this right? Can call, but it's not worth try. Okay, is this now we don't put try right there? Am I doing this right? Like that. So this is a string. Yeah, let's... Okay, I think we're doing this right. Okay, cool. So we have our JSON string. The last thing we want to do is get the data. So let's get rid of this print, get rid of that. We will do another unwrap to get data. I think we need to try, actually, I'm just gonna call this data. It doesn't need to be JSON. No. Data is a taken word, so we'll do that. Oh wait, we don't need to do this one anymore. We can do that, we can do this. Wait, but this is a string though. Hang on. Yeah, this is cool. You've never used XCTUnwrap. Yes, it makes it so, like, basically you can do this. I, like, totally forgot that that's how it works. Okay, we have our JSON. This is not... So this is a string. We can directly convert a string into an object, right? That's like a thing. We can do... To object Swift. What is the syntax for this? I always forget as well. Yes, here we go. We have this. Aw, this was written so long ago. Taylor Swift was 16 at the time. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we can just do JSON decoder. And that is... So this makes it into data. That's funny. Hey, can we watch this live later? Yes, this will be on my channel, so you can always watch this replay. It's in the, on my channel, there's a folder called Expense Tracker series, I think. You can watch all of the replays there if you really want to watch, like, it's probably over like 10 hours of content, I think, there now. But, also under the new YouTube thing, there's like a new live part that, like, you can watch all the live streams that I've had. Okay. So this, he's converting it into data. Might as well do that. So this is a JSON string. Oh, that's what we're doing. That is what. Okay. That is exactly what is going on right there. Is this optional? It is not optional. Okay. And then all we have to do is do we will return that. Oh, we do not have decoder. We can do JSON decoder.decode. Thank you. You live in Europe. Usually this time is around sleep. Yes, I usually stream early in the mornings, which accommodates Europe time zones a lot better, but I was not feeling up to it yesterday morning, so this is like my makeup stream that I'm doing this evening. Okay, so I did that. If that'll throw, let's see. We have a test failed. Okay. I think we have a different reason for the test failing, though. Oh, the data couldn't be read because it isn't in the correct format. Makes sense. That's something I was wondering about this. If I do that, I think this needs to have... Oh, I think that was... No, don't do that. Do that. Okay, I think that'll work now. Let's see. Oh no, test failed. You thought you saw a missing bracket earlier. It could be. Let's change this to make it super simple. Let's put 2. Okay, so if we only have 2 objects, here's our big JSON object, an array, and then each. Test failed. Could not be read. Where is that happening at? Does this tell me what line number this is happening at? The data couldn't be read because it's not in the correct format. Okay. You should have said something. It's all good. Let's see. What is it? Is it because... Do we not need this like that? Let's see. No. Oh, wait. Oh, that was it. That was it. Okay. It didn't like the extra bracket. Because we can tell. Because our test passed. Or not, didn't pass. But we got 2 is not equal to 5. Because I took out all of the objects. So this can now be 2. And here we go. We have a test succeeded, y'all. We did it. Yay. I need animations. That's one of the next things I want to do with my stream is have like animations of some sort that say like, we did it. Oh, that's so exciting. Okay, cool. So I'm going to put this all into its own function for func fetch categories. Because this is generic, I have to specify a specific mock thing to do. What was that? Update to recommended settings. Let's do that later. So I have to, specify a very specific object to mock. Because if we were to create like a func test successful fetch, not fetch categories, but fetching something else, then we can't use this same fetch function. It'll break it. Okay, so this was test successful fetch categories, actually, is what this one was. So if we run that one, it ran. It's beautiful. It only took us about an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, so let's put this one in, func fetch categories return. So I could keep the rest of it, but instead I could do this. Let's do that, actually. Instead of fetch categories, we will do... Because it'll be dependent on the URL, I'll want to switch and do different fetch functions to test. Let's just commit what we have so far first before I start changing more things. Oh wait, what is that untracked? Okay, that's fine. Git add, git commit. Successfully fetch categories. Okay, so I am doing this correctly though. For how I'm doing this. Let's also edit scheme. Was it scheme that we do the no, it's not scheme. It's my mini map is gone. I usually have that on. I haven't noticed that lately. This thing like disappears and appears randomly all the time. Code coverage. That's what I wanted to do. But to do that, I believe we have to change the scheme and check code coverage somewhere. Yes, gather coverage. Let's do some targets for right now. Let's only add that target. Is that the way we do this? No. We have to add the app target, right? Why is fetch sending back T instead of just T? Because the way, I think this is the one that we want to do. Close. Let's see. It is because the way I have this coded, it's actually going to send back an array of objects usually, as opposed to just a single object. Look at that. One function is fully tested and in it. That's great. So technically the mock or this networking may actually never be, may actually never be tested, because this is the function that we end up mocking, because this is our actual code, I believe is how this works. It's beautiful, I know. I want to pull up, like, here, hang on. I use GIFs all the time on Jay's stream. I'll drop their link because they also stream. So I always, in their chat, will drop links to GIFs. This is me right now. The code looks so beautiful. Okay, you lose the generic behavior by doing so. You mean this is adding constraint where there shouldn't be one. Or you think. Yes, technically that's what I've done in a different project. Is this one is giving us an array of T objects, whereas, actually right here, it's an array of T objects rather than a single object. So technically I could rename this, instead of just fetch, it could be like fetch objects, and then I could have a different function that just returns a single T object, because that's what does the decoding right here. I could do something like that as well. So we would have like two different functions. One could be like fetch objects, and one could just be a singular fetch object. But I think this looks fine for right now, because you can always add a new one, and I think that's okay, rather than needing to do both. Why would you differentiate between these two scenarios? Because I return an actual object right here, we have to specify if it's a single object or an array of objects. Because I return the whole object rather than decoding it on the actual implementation side. So right here, we don't have to decode it. Otherwise, I would have had to put like fetch data or something and then decode the object on the concrete implementation. That's the reason I did it that way. It could be an array T. Wait, what do you mean at that point now? T can be anything. Oh, so this could be, instead of being an array of T, it could just be T. But we can still do the decoding right here as an array of T. If you return T, the compiler may infer it as categories. Okay. We may put a pin in that for right now. Should launch some, what is this? Oh, this is because I added code coverage. Ooh, let's look at the code coverage. Where is that? I can't remember. It's in... Where do we see code coverage? Hang on one second. I'm going to switch it to this because I can't remember if I've given the app. I have not given it. I have given it the name. I don't want to show you all the name yet. It's super exciting. Where do we find the code coverage thing? Where is that? Like viewing code coverage. Oh wait, I found it. Okay. Here we go. Our current code coverage with my one test is that 21%? Is that the whole thing? Content view is mostly covered. That's interesting. How is content view mostly covered? So I found it by clicking whatever this is, the report navigator, and then coverage, because it wasn't enabled here, and then I finally enabled it, so we have a new one. Okay, networking is not covered, but technically... What is covered? This, the settings network manager. That's what we just did. So we cover the init and fetch categories, and when we cover fetch accounts, that will give that class full coverage. We have 10 minutes, let's do it. Okay, let's do... Does this end? Okay. Else if... We are definitely going to abstract this, but I'm just going to copy and paste it right now. Else if... Where do we do this? Here. Oh my goodness, there's more. Report. Command 8. You think it launches the app first, gets loaded, created? I'm not sure why content view is covered. That's, yeah, it's interesting. Let's do fetch successful, test successful, fetch categories. Change this to accounts, and this would be fetch accounts. And let's call that accounts. Let's say 3 get accounts. Oh, we do only have 3, so we need to make a new mock accounts.json. And this one is mock accounts. Okay, let's do endpoint not covered, because that's more generic now that we have 2 of them. I do need some mods. I'll get there eventually. I'm surprised it's just now happened. I've made it like several months with not needing a mod. On top of I just haven't had spam. But apparently I have hit that point. There we go, both of them succeeded. Woo. And now if we go back to our test coverage, it has 22.1, and there we go. Settings Network Manager is 100% covered with our 2 functions in it. There we go, thank you. And look at that, it's so beautiful. Okay. Last thing we do, let's see, let's do, oh, actually, hang on, let me switch this to me for right now because I'm going to open something. Okay, open a repo. Which repo do I want to open? I'm going to get Kraken on my computer, but I have to open expense stash tracker. Okay. There we go. You can say you're not made for YT because bots see the stream popular. Yeah. Okay, here, I want to unstage all of this, and it's so much easier to, like, unstage everything like that. Oh, it's because I added the resources now. We have that. The scheme. Here, that's what I want to do. Stage this one file that says add test coverage. In... Oh my goodness. In Xcode. There we go. And now we can do the rest of them. Where test, fetch, and settings, network manager. And there we go. So now we look at this, and that is good. That is Get Kraken. Let me, I believe I have... Copy link. Yes, so that is a link to download Get Kraken, and that is that's the GUI I typically use when I use a GUI. So something like that, it's so much faster for me to like add and remove files from the staging area in a GUI than it would have been if I do terminal. But like just normal commits and stuff, I usually just use terminal because it's faster for me. Did you reconversion, or are you a developer from the beginning? Oh, so what I did, I studied manufacturing in college, and so I did not study like development or software engineering or computer science. That is something I did that I learned mostly on my own, and then ended up switching careers into software development. Okay, so we have all this. Let's just keep it here. I need to switch this again because there's an application I use and I have to switch the one that I'm doing. Okay. Okay, so here we're still working on these two things, but something that we can throw in the backlog for right now, because we could do it next stream. Maybe we will do it next stream. Let's put in progress to do it next stream because it's something small and it'll bother me. Is fix the mock networking. And this is called linear.app. That is the one that I've used for all of my ticket like tracking for this project. Fix mock networking. Fetch. Let's just write that. And we will do, because I think the code, it's really the path is changing. Everything else is the same. So we could actually make a function, create a function to find the right path to use depending on the URL. So it could be like, let's just call it find proper path. It takes in the URL. Is that a URL? It is a URL. And then would return a where are we using URL? No, we need we can't switch on the URL. We would switch on oh yeah, it would be find let's do for URL, and that is a URL, and this would return a string because that's a string, right? Yeah. And then find the right. So we would take out, we would take out this if statement, and why I should just do it now. Okay, we'll create the issue, but I'm just gonna write it right now because it's bothering me. Okay, what did I just call that function? We said find proper string. It takes in a URL, which is URL, and it returns a string. And this would be this. So if it's categories instead of that, we would return. Then this is another else if. Oh, whoops, I copied the else if. We now return this first line. Else we will do fail, path not handled, sure. And this, oh, I think I put the throws on the wrong side. No, I did have it on the right side. Okay. So this makes it so we can delete that whole thing. Delete this if statement. And then this would be find proper path for URL. This would be try and build failed. Oh yeah, because this needs to return a string. And there we go. Okay, moving this around. But both of our tests pass. So if we hit Command U, there we go. Both of these still pass, so that means we are still good. The only thing you would change is in the argument for resource. I would have created another function to get just that parameter. I could do that. And put this function in there. I see what you mean. We could do that. Find resource. So we would return I like that way better. Look at that. There we go. I like that better. That is a better way. Let's commit it. Git commit. It's not fix. It's not. We'll say refactor. That's the word. Refactor. Mock. Networking fetch. Awesome. And we will mark that as complete. There we go. Okay. So what we did today, we have successfully unit tested both of these functions, fetch categories and fetch accounts. And we did that by creating a new network test. We are testing the settings network manager, so let's actually rename this to refactor. What is this? We're testing the settings, so setting networking. What is this? Network manager tests. Okay. Refactor. There. Settings network manager test. We will call the function that, and let's call. It's a really long name, but it's okay. So we created a new unit test case for testing the settings network manager. So that's the variable we have. We are creating it and we are passing it a mock networker or mock networking. And so here we wrote our two tests of just normal testing the function itself and checking that it's equal to a specific value, which those values are however many are actually in our little mock JSON file. And then our mock networking class, which we could probably make this final. Let's run it. Yep, we made that final. Oh my goodness. Ran twice. Okay. Let's get rid of some of these extra spaces. So it's like that. So we have mock networking and we are just fetching JSON from right here. Can you see that? Oh, my head's barely in the way. But we are fetching JSON from these mock ones that we have, as opposed to going to the network and fetching anything. And then we needed this extra class, which we could probably make this private and still run it. Everything works. So we have this extra class to determine, depending on which URL we're using, we are fetching specifically the mock categories or mock accounts. And that's what we did today. We have successfully we have successfully tested both of these functions. And the next stream, we will probably start off, we are reading all of the values. So if we actually run the project now, is this still gonna run in this clone? Okay, I don't know what's up with this and why that happens, but okay. We are successfully fetching these values. The next thing we need to do is actually create them. So when we go to like create an expense, we need to actually save something here. So that will be the beginning of next stream. Do I have Ventura installed? I do not yet. I need to double check that it still works with OBS on Ventura. Otherwise, I won't upgrade. I just backed up my Mac for the first time in forever since I got the MacBook. So because of that, yeah, I've backed up my computer, so that's good. And then the next thing I will do is actually go about upgrading, but it depends on if OBS is still compatible because I want to continue doing these streams. I don't want it to just break because of that. But yeah, I'll probably, that I think was on my last stream. I asked everybody if they've upgraded or not. But yes, thank you to everybody who joined in on the stream tonight. Thanks, Tyler, Wilfred. You were a great help for everything, and Yash for sure as well. I hope you all have a good rest of your night or morning, depending on what time it is. And I will see you. Oh, Han, you joined at the very end. Oh no, I'm leaving. Yes, it did go well. Yeah, so yeah, that's the very end of the stream. Is basically I'm saying goodbye. Because we were able to unit test. So we created two unit tests to test this settings network manager. So we right now have 100% code coverage on this file, which is awesome. And yeah, so we did all the unit testing for this specific part. And then the next part of the app is going to be actually, we're reading these values from the database. The next part is we'll be creating. So when we click create income, right now it's just like text and a text field. But you can type here, and then I still need to add a button. We'll add a button up here that says create, and then this will refresh. But that'll be the end. Thanks, Han, for joining at the very end. But that'll be it for tonight. Let me check my schedule. I do not know. I think I can stream next Friday. Next Friday is the day after Thanksgiving, so I'm not sure if I'll be streaming. But basically, follow me on YouTube, like hit the bell kind of icon, and you'll be notified if I'm actually going to be or not. But I know in December I am not going to be streaming a lot because I am very busy for at least like half of December. So we will see. So I'll maybe then stream next week. Otherwise, it's going to be like a 3-week break. So we'll see. But basically, you can follow me on Twitter is usually where I post when I'm streaming. But also, I believe you get notifications if you're actually on my channel itself as well. So that's where it will be posted somewhere. So follow me on social media somewhere, and you will definitely find it. But thank you to everybody for joining, and I will see you in the next stream, though. Goodbye.